soldiers died right now in this. They deported to India. Many Filipino soldiers.
고추 어때? 좋아. 뭐야? 섞어 먹는 거야? 섞어서 먹어? 먹어봐. 이름이 뭔데?
Manila City.